Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to call to order the September 28th meeting of the Benton Harbor Planning Commission. You call the roll, please.
Commissioner Archibald,
Here.
Commissioner Bell, Commissioner Henry,
Present.
Commissioner Hensel,
Present.
Commissioner Marshall,
Here.
Commissioner Yarbrough,
Here.
Manager Mitchell,
Here.
Mayor Mohammed, Chairman Reed,
Present.
Gail Kwam.
Has everybody had an opportunity to read the agenda? If so, I need a motion to approve it.
So moved.
Motion is made by City Manager Mitchell and Commissioner Archibald supports it. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Marshall,
Yes.
Commissioner Yarbrough,
Yes.
Manager Mitchell,
Yes.
Commissioner Archibald,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry, Commissioner Hensel,
Yes.
Chairman Reed,
Yes.
motion carried.
At this time, I would like to open the meeting for public comments. These would be comments in general. We will also have another opportunity for public comments after the presentation for the rezoning. So if you have any comments you'd like to make at this time, please come to the desk, state your name, and make your comment.
Presentation.
Okay, if there are no regular comments, I'd like to close this portion of our meeting. And at this time, I'd like to direct your attention to new business. At this time, we're gonna open the meeting for a public hearing for the rezoning of the property at 960 Agar, better known as the Mercy site. And that's tax ID number 11-53-1300 -0026-00-1. And that would include the property at 807 Wells Street, which would be 11-53 1300 -01-8. The rezoning would be the changing of it into a planned unit development. At this time, we have the applicant for the presentation.
Hello, good afternoon.
Speaking to the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There we go.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Erin Hudson. I am here with my development partners. They are Shannon Morgan and Jill Ferrari, the managing partners of Renovare Development. Together, we are Project T Benton Harbor LLC. We're here today seeking a planned unit development designation for the parcels at 960 Agard and 807 Weld Street. We plan to build 19 duplexes. That's 38 2- and 3-bedroom homes for sale, and a 4-story apartment building where the ground floor will be a commercial retail area and the top 3 floors will be apartments for rent. If you look at the slide, I believe it's the 4th page that shows the site plan. If you look at the top of the of that slide, you'll see that the mixed-use building is along Empire. The ground floor will contain childcare and retail options. The duplexes that line Union, Weld, and Agard will have 2 and 3 bedrooms, several of which will be accessible and visitable. 4 of the duplexes, or 8 units, will be built by Harbor Habitat and will be for families who make 30 to 60% of the area median income. 15 of the units will be built by the contractors, and they will be for individuals and families who make 60 to 120% of the area median income. We are seeking this PD designation to bring much needed affordable and attainable housing to the community and residents of Benton Harbor. Are there any questions that we can answer for you at this time?
Commissioners, do you have questions? Recognize the mayor.
Yes, thank you, sir. Just like to, first of all, thank you all for the vision. We have toiled with that parcel, that property. I can remember meeting with Commissioner Yarbrough. I think he, at that time, was working in Intercare and inside of that building before the demolition. So it warms my heart to see something productive in this property having the potential to be repurposed, where residents will continue to benefit from the development. If you could talk a little bit about the missing middle and that funding from the state and how that will assist and aid the project.
Would you like to take that?
Good afternoon, everyone. As Erin said, I'm Shannon Morgan. I'm managing partner of Renovare, partner in the Project T development team. And before I get started, I first want to thank the members of the commission, and most especially Mr. Ellis and Mr. Mitchell for working very diligently with us as we get through to make sure that this project exceeds expectations for the city of Benton Harbor. But a little bit of information about Missing Middle. There's been ongoing research statewide and through the governor's office to better understand that there is an opportunity to fill workforce beyond traditional, what we call HUD or other incentive programming. The term missing middle can be coined in 2 prongs. One from an area median income standpoint, which is usually defined under workforce housing, or 60 to 120% area median income. And 2 is from a form in terms of product. Generally a higher density unit that we can bring to urban cores that could focus on more multifamily, triplex, duplex, and other type of units. In this particular project, we really took the best case scenarios the state's been studying, both from the Michigan Municipal League as well as through Missing Middle. As you probably are aware, we received significant statewide funding through the ARPA funding. And there was a special designation to a one-time only collaboration through the Michigan State Housing Development Authority for Missing Middle funds. In those funds, there were specifications to look at both terms and income and product range, but also, visiting terms like accessibility, livability, and, anything, visitability, access. We have taken those and implemented those into the design. So first of all, this is also an option to work with local employers to expand workforce options in housing as well, and connect to the neighborhood from a design perspective, from the walkability. So we're really we've done a lot of due diligence into planning. MISTA received, as people may be aware, $90 million in missing middle funding. While that seems like a tremendous amount, it was, the award was issued out in regions. It's been competitive. And the applications came in within days across statewide. So I think you are aware that we have been working with MISTA to ensure that we could be able to be competitive enough in our design to seek the award, and that we have received an award, a conditional award that we've been working with the city on for this funding that is going to help fill the gap in the missing middle or the duplex units that we have. Overall, the units that we're looking at are going to be sold for sale. We're going to be targeting the 60 to 120%. We're going to be working with local employers. We're going to be bringing in new tools, both in terms of mortgage products and additional down payment assistance to offer families that may have been shut out from other opportunities in affordable home ownership, offer them new options to purchase.
Thank you. Is there a completion date as to when this project will be completed?
We have not yet. Once we have our final dates in place, we will be looking at a start date and finish date. We're finishing engineering. Our goal right now for the units on the duplexes is that we'd be just tentatively, our tentative schedule is about a 90-day window to start infrastructure before we build, and then starting to, it would take about another 6 months before we went vertical. So, and four units a month. So we are estimating, at least for the first set of duplexes, which are in the missing middle MISTA category, about 18 months to finish those units.
The other questions. I've seen some of the Habitat housing. Are these going to be different?
Yeah, so we are required under MISTA standards we put an RFQ out for a full GC contracting firm. We're required to meet Davis-Bacon wage reporting. We put an RFP out for contractors that have experience, that are bonded, and that can move fairly quick, as quickly as our trades will allow under that. And that would be, their contract would be accordance to what they produce in the schedule. And generally, and we're going to be working with Habitat on that. Habitat, as you know, has a very important model because they service even lower income, and there's sweat equity required as part of that program. Those are going to be two separate initiatives, and in the multifamily building, as well as the duplexes in the missing middle, that will be a full certified general contracting firm that works on construction.
But just to be clear, the Habitat houses that will be built by volunteers will be just as beautiful as the houses built by the contractors. We will be following the same plans.
I know you have the ability.
Absolutely.
I'm just wondering, would it be?
It's always funding. It comes down to dollars.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Will the units be restricted to one person or family in one unit, either duplex? Is there any circumstances in which a person might actually be able to buy both units and rent one out?
We do not have restrictions right now, unless the city places restrictions within the bylaws and master deed. There are other cities that have asked that these be homeowner occupied. We haven't finalized that, and our approach is that we will continue to work with the city and members of Planning Commission to ensure that those bylaws meet the needs of the neighborhood.
Thank you. Any additional questions from the commissioners? Mayor?
Yes, so I want to go back to the money. How would this impact the tax roll and the revenue of the city from a water utility perspective from the property? estate perspective.
Good afternoon, Jill Ferrari, managing partner of Renovare. The development right now is tax exempt. It's owned by the city, so it's not generating any taxes at all. With all of the residential units for sale and sold and the mixed-use building, there will be considerable tax increment. I don't have that number in front of me, but it will be considerable. So the impact of the project itself to revenue, we can get you that number, be happy to. But there's always a concern about the impact of this project on other residents' taxable value, and is this going to raise my taxes? Is this going to be an issue? It's actually the scenario where all of the existing residents, their taxable value will be limited through Headley. So it's not going to increase their taxes. However, if they were looking to sell their houses, it should increase the value, the ability to sell those units. That's our intent. I hope that answers your question. I'd be happy to provide more information on increased taxes after the meeting.
Would there be taxes paid directly to the city, or would there be payment in lieu of taxes?
We are not seeking a pilot on these. We did seek a pilot originally in the project because we were seeking a low-income housing tax credit, but we had to completely restructure the project after not receiving that award, so we will not be seeking a pilot.
Additional comments or questions? If there are none, I would like to open up this portion of our meeting for public comments. Anybody from the public wishing to speak or ask questions? Yes,
So you talking about the taxes of the new houses that you're building, what about my property next door?
could I have
It's
your
my
name,
tax-
please?
Yolandi Watson,
For the record?
Yolande Watson, Watson.
Thank you.
So, if the city attorney, or clerk or treasurer here, they could comment on this as well, or the assessor. Your property taxes should be restricted through the Headley Amendment, which restricts the amount that your taxes can go up each year. So a new housing development next door should not impact your value, your taxes, your taxable value. However, if you want to sell your house, you may be able to get more money for it because the value might go up because of the development, if that makes sense.
Yes, ma'am.
So Tana Warren, I had a couple of questions. Everyone's bringing up taxes, but I want to make sure I'm clear. When you guys are done with the first phase, are you saying there will not be a tax abatement? So that means the resident will pay property taxes from the beginning?
At this point in the project and the financing, we are not seeking a pilot and we have not asked for an abatement. There is a tool that we may be seeking. We have not negotiated with the city yet. That is a tax increment financing tool for the mixed use piece of the project, which we are still putting together the financing on. That is a tool that will allow us to capture a portion of the taxes created in order to finance certain pieces of the project. But right now, we are not seeking an abatement or a pilot. So the residents would pay full taxes.
Okay. I have another, is that okay? The next question I have, are you planning, will these be pre-sold? So like, will someone come and buy it maybe like a year in advance or 8 months in advance, or will you be waiting until the project is complete?
We plan on pre-selling. And right now we do have a home ownership program statewide. We will create a custom ownership program. The goal is to come in and work with the community early to allow them to get pre-approved and look for different tools so they can have a long month leadway into putting a reservation down and preparing, to close as the home's being built. So I think, overall, the goal is to work with, Habitat, local homeowner counselors, a number of different financial institutions to start education within the local public places in the community, let residents become pre-qualified and be able to take those steps necessary, choose a particular property, be able to reserve it, and have some time to work towards that path of home ownership prior to closing.
So my next question is any of this, I'm looking at at a diagram here. Is any of this like a common area? What I'm asking is, will the residents have a fee monthly? Or is it like a single family home where I take care of my yard myself? Or is there like a common fee? Because I definitely want that to be disclosed, because
Yes.
people, that's an extra payment that
Understood.
people have to be able to afford.
So one of our requirements with Mishtan as we use down payment assistance is that we'll be looking at what we call smaller debt to income, and those association fees really impact the final dollar. We are actually working with members of the Planning Commission right now on programming that common space. We have not finalized it, so I want to be careful any information until it's approved. Overall, our goal is to create common space that create additional fees beyond affordability for the homeowners that are living there. And we actually have some great information, I think, that we're formalizing right now on what that's going to look like and how that's going to be managed. So we will have common space that the residents can live, it can be livable, it can be enjoyable, and not produce the additional fees that create additional cost burdens to the homeowners.
Additional comments? Yes.
Hi, good afternoon, Cassandra Booker. Have you guys come up with an actual price point in regards to the cost of the homes or the sales price?
We do have some basic price points, and they're going to range likely in the 180s. However, we could have additional down payment assistance up to $70,000 a unit. And, you know, part of this is meeting the missing middle, is to, you know, be able to sell at what we can create as market value and gap the affordability with the tool of down payment assistance, which will be the amount that the homeowner's mortgaging. And we should have those, when we have those prices, obviously they'll be published publicly.
This is my last one, sorry. So if you have not thought about it, I do have a suggestion. With the rates being quite high, have you thought about any build or buy down?
We have had ongoing conversations to multiple tools and lenders that want to participate, both in terms of more down payment assistance, more flexible portfolio terms for homeowners and their qualifications, and rate buy downs.
One more question, I'm sorry, Cassandra Booker again. Okay, so we have the contractor builds, which is the first phase, correct, the missing middle,
Correct.
and also we have the habitat, correct?
Correct.
There's not gonna be any compromise in regards to quality, design, or anything
Absolutely
like
not.
that. So the habitat homes also will be in the same price range as well, but that potential buyer will be working directly with Habitat to purchase?
They'll work the Habitat homeowners will work directly with Habitat and be financed through, well, we'll figure out the financing, how that's going to work. But it will be the exact same quality. We always use professionals for things like electrical, plumbing, anything that requires licensing. But the plans that we follow will be the same plans of the other homes. So they'll have the same quality, but our homeowners make between 30% and 80% of the area median income, so they will be paying less.
Thank you.
Any additional comments? Questions?
Yes, so last Tuesday, the Black Mayors of Michigan, we met with the state budget director and Governor Whitmer's executive staff, and they provided for us this year's state budget, which is $81.7 billion. General fund is $15.2 billion. So most of that money is federal. And they just were sharing with us that, you know, the different timelines of when it has to be spent. And they don't want to leave anything on the table.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, things are time sensitive. And the missing middle money and like you said, they told us very competitive.
Yeah.
And 90 million may sound a lot in this room, but when you look at 83 counties everybody wants a piece of that money to have a project in their community. We have a window of time and opportunity to bring that money right here. So it's a very big project. And it's an opportunity, again, where we can repurpose a desolate, similar to the Whirlpool project where it was vacant for 33 years as a car dealership. In this particular case, we're not looking at that runway of vacancy, but if we miss this opportunity, then,
Comments, additional questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll close this portion of our meeting for public comments. What we're looking at is a rezoning of a local commercial area, housing there. It is not currently zoned for housing. That's the intended purpose of this planned unit development. And this development plan unit will be just what you see here in this diagram. It won't be in any other part. Any other zoning that takes place would have to be done by the applicants at the time that they wish to do it. So at this time, if the commissioners are ready, we get a motion for approval, provisional approval, or denial.
I would like to make a motion to approve the said project.
Support.
Motion is made by Commissioner Marshall, supported by Mayor Muhammad. Is there any discussion?
Let me ask one question about vacating roads or changing directions of roads. Is there something that's going on that I missed? Looking at the plan, it looks like AGAR has been rerouted or reestablished or something. I'd like to know about all the improvements or vacating or whatever, any roads or streets or alleys in this plan.
The question that you're asking could be answered better by looking at the site plan. The site plan is under review this time, at this time with the city staff. So as soon as that information is available, we'll forward that to the city commission before any votes.
Could you answer that question? I know you have.
Well, per your information, our civil engineers are still working through your final review with McKenna. So we don't want to give any preliminary information. To my knowledge, there's not any major changes regarding vacating.
No, or changing direction.
Or changing direction. Once again, I want to be careful of the information that we share, but we are working diligently to incorporate any feedback that we're getting from the city on concerns and from civil. There's Commissioner Henry, there's no intention at this time. And we should, to the point, have the feedback from the city's or from the city's planner from McKenna very soon that will provide you with feedback on that.
Thank you.
And it will also be presented in detail on behalf of our civil engineers during the site plan submittal.
So AGAR will still be there on that corner.
No.
Just a point of information, AGAR was abandoned from Empire up to Weld almost 20 years ago.
So my property is on that corner, and I wanted to know what was you gonna do with it?
So our original draft, to be honest, did have this private drive coming all the way out to Pipestone, but because of the intersection there, we were advised that there could not be an exit way out to Pipestone for that drive in that space. And we are intending to put a Head Start location in the building, which requires green space. So we made a decision in the preliminary site plan to keep the green space and not take the private drive out because we told it wouldn't be compliant.
So the city went along with that.
We don't know, right? We have submitted the site plan. It is in review right now. If they come back and say something different, we'll have to work it out. But that's how we've submitted it.
So I would hear some from the city, what you guys did with it, correct?
At this time, the rezoning is the only thing we're discussing today.
And Mr. Chair, since we're just, what is there now?
I'm not sure I understand. And so,
Basically, a stub of a street that's blocked off with big Jersey blocks. And that's it. Part of the street is missing.
So it's nothing of no use,
No,
nothing right
and it was part of the parking lots, became part of the parking lots for the Mercy Memorial Medical Center that was there in the 1990s. So it ceased being a street at that point.
Thank you.
any additional questions? Call for the vote.
Commissioner Yarbrough,
Yes.
Manager Mitchell,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed,
Yes.
Commissioner Archibald,
Yes.
Commissioner Bell,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Hensel,
Yes.
Commissioner Marshall,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Move on to old business, monthly report of members. Let the record reflect that all members are present. Do you have any comments, closing comments by any of the commissioners?
I do, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Marshall?
On June the 1st, 2023, the Planning Commission held a special meeting. On that agenda were special use permit and site plan review for 133 West Main. At our regular meeting on June the 6th, I questioned the validity of 2 votes cast at our June 1st, 2023 meeting. I was told by the chairman he would seek a legal opinion and get back to me with an answer. 3 months, 3 weeks later, I still hasn't gotten an answer. Voting meets the ordinary and commonly understood definition of a speech act. Therefore, voting is speech. Free speech is a fundamental right entitled to be protected under the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. In this case, my speech was taken away. On January the 1st, June the 1st, 2023, there were seven people casting votes. 2 of those 7 were in violation of the planning, our planning bylaws and the Michigan Planning Enabling Act. With those 2 being in question, there were 5 total voters left. If 4 of those 5 vote to approve the motion and one vote against the motion, that motion does not pass. The Michigan Enabling Act, Act 33 of 2008, under the Michigan Compiled Laws 125.3801, Section 15, subsection 9, the legislative body may remove a planning commission for misfeasance, malfeasance, or non-feasance in office upon written charges after a public hearing. Before casting a vote on a matter on which a member may reasonably be considered to have a conflict of interest, the member shall disclose the potential conflict of interest to the planning commission. Failure of a member to disclose a potential conflict of interest as required by this subsection constitutes malfeasance in office. Planning Commissioner's bylaws, August 2010, adopted, effective immediately August 24th, 2010, as amended August 24th, 2010. Page 2. If any member of the commission is absent from 3 consecutive regularly scheduled meetings, then that member should be considered delinquent. Delinquency shall be grounds for the city commission to remove a member from the commission for non-performance of duty or misconduct after holding a public hearing. Each member of the commission shall avoid conflict of interest in or incapability of office as used here. A conflict of interest shall at minimum include, but not necessarily be limited to, the following: issuing, deliberating on, voting on, or reviewing a case concerning him or her. There is proof that these things happen. The planning commit, the enabling act, as well as our bylaws, says what need to be done before these people can vote. Even to this day, one of the members are sitting here, both of them are sitting here voting today. I asked for a legal opinion. I have not received my legal opinion. So where do I go from here? Where do I go from here?
You finished with your comments?
No. There is clear indication that there has been a violation of law. The Michigan Planning Enabling Law, Enabling Act, is a codified law. It became codified September 1st in 2008.
Commissioner Marshall, through the city manager, I would refer this issue back to the city's attorney, as I did in the past.
At this point,
Your comments have been noted, sir.
at this point, city officials, this is my second time blowing the whistle. That the record reflects that as well.
Let the record show that he was re-elected back to the city attorney. We are not in a position to adjudicate any issue here at this meeting. Record is noted. Thank you for your comments. Are there any other comments? Hearing none, I make a motion that we adjourn.
Support.
Motion is made by the chairman, supported by the mayor. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Archibald,
Yes.
Commissioner Bell, Commissioner Henry, Commissioner Hensel,
Yes.
Commissioner Marshall,
Yes.
Commissioner Yarborough,
Yes.
Manager Mitchell,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed,
Yes.
Chairman Reed,
Yes,
motion carried.
we are adjourned.